Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of It's About Time. Today is casual Monday for me, so I happen to be in my robe. But today we're actually going to be doing another watch box opening, this time with one of my favorite brands, Omega. Jared is not here with me today, but I'm sure he will be back next episode. So without further ado, let's get into a brand new watch indeed, and this one again happens to be the Omega Constellation. If anybody has seen the show before, I have mentioned a couple times that my diamond gold Omega Constellation from probably about 15 years ago is my favorite watch in my collection, most notably because it's so durable and it's never given me a problem. This one I just recently picked up because I like my first one so much. I decided to go with a different style, a little bit different style than my other one. My other one was with a diamond face and a gold bezel and a gold tone face. As you can see, this one's going to be a little bit different. So I wanted to compare the two, which is the older style back in the early 2000s to the new style that came out just a few years ago. This is a new open box item, so a lot of people like to call it NOS, which is new old stock. This is from September 2014, so it's a couple years old. It was probably a display piece at the store, so I did get the floor model, you could say. But let's open it up and find out how this one compares to the older models of Omega. When you open the box, you typically get three different things with Omega. You do get, in this case, a cherry wood display box. You get the papers underneath, and you get the booklet. Omega is known for doing that, stacking them. You got papers, your warranty cards, as well as your, as they like to call them, pictograms, which is the reference number, plus your Omega operating instructions for anything you need to know about the watch. So we put those back in the slots over here, and let's get to the actual watch itself. Okay. Now, once you open the display box, you will see the actual watch piece itself. It is a beauty. This piece, the Constellations, again, named after the stars, okay, for all the astrological signs. These types of watches are known for being very durable. They're known for being sleek and very comfortable. I happen to like these pieces. Again, they fit my wrist beautifully, and for me, anyway, it's one of my favorite pieces, as I've said before. So, one of the things you're going to notice right off the bat with this piece is the fact that, again, one thing I noticed right away is actually the back of the watch. The older Constellations had a regular case back with the Constellation symbol as the case back. The newer ones have the exhibition case back, which is really cool. You can see the whole entire movement from the back of the watch. There is no obstruction at all. You can see the rotor spinning it, turning it. It's just a beautiful thing. One good thing that they did keep, as opposed to the old ones, these are 10 ATM. So you can go in the water, you can go in the bathroom, in the shower, you can do anything you want. Take it underwater, near water, it doesn't really matter. These are very, very durable pieces as well. So that is one of my favorite things about them. Another thing that they added to the newer ones in the last 5 years or so, if you notice, around the hour markers and the actual second hand itself and the minute hand, you will see it does have lume. So it does glow in the dark. The older ones did not. That was just plainly a dress watch. Clearly they're trying to make this more sporty in a way to attract a different customer base. And having lume will do that very nicely for you. As you can see from the watch, it is silver with the silver hour indices, and then you have the side. These are 18 karat gold bars. Okay, they did not get rid of them. The older ones had more of a clasp. These they have leveled and flattened out, but they have made them bigger as well. The actual watch size is about 35 to 36 millimeters, however you want to measure it. The watch band size, that actually gets to be a little more confusing, because that one is listed, the bandwidth is listed as 21, but as you can see, the inner links closest to the watch head are larger than the outer links, so it probably starts at 21, then ventures all the way down to 18 as you're removing the links. So they aren't very complicated, the links to get out. I still would recommend going to a watch jeweler himself to get these out, as these tend to go very expensive. The retail on this is about $5,700 if you look online. But you can get them. I got this one on eBay for $2,000. It was an open box. Most of them you'll see anywhere, if you go on eBay to some of the other stores, anywhere between $2,400 and $2,800 you can get these for. They do hold their value relatively well, especially if you can get them in somewhere in the low to mid twos. You won't have a problem reselling it for close to that. So you do look at the watch, and one other thing about this watch, which I find very interesting, and it took me a while to notice it, you won't really probably tell from this actual video, but if you look on the actual dial, they actually made a play on their name, okay? It is what's called a sunburst dial, to try to give it that effect for you, and if you notice, the sunburst is where the star starts. Usually with sunburst dial, they start in the middle of the dial and they go outward, which means as light is hitting it, you see the light going around the middle portion of the watch. This one happens to actually, it all starts from the stars, which is very symbolic because it's a constellation, everything begins with the stars. So it radiates out from the stars this way, all around the star, and I find that very clever, very unique. Like the other constellations, they come in a lot of different forms. This is a two-tone. They do have the two-tone that they used to have with the solid gold bars as well coming across. Of course, this one is all stainless steel. I wanted a more casual look, but they do have that option as well. They have the half bar, they have the full bar, and they even have the 18 karat gold full constellation in gold. Those, I guess, I'm pretty sure they're 12 to 15,000. So if you want to go for all gold, great piece to do it with. It's a sucker that really will not let you down. Let me get into some of the specs of this piece, okay, because it does, for its engine, its automatic engine, as we like to say, it has the Omega caliber 2500 movement. Now, as Jared had pointed out in a different episode, this is not the newest movement of Omega. They just came out in 2017 with a new movement that replaced the 2500. Doesn't really make a difference, basically, because what this one's claim to fame is it's a coaxial, which if you look it up, you can see what coaxials do in terms of, coaxials are basically for, it's designed to help the movement not wear down over time and give it a better performance at beats per hour. So, you know, it's a nice thing to have. You're not really going to notice it as you're wearing it. It does have the scratch-resistant sapphire. It says it has, in terms of the actual crystal, that it's anti-reflective. It's really not. You can still see most of what you need to see in here. It's really not an anti-reflective coating on the crystal, which is something I don't like to begin with, because when the coating starts coming off, then you're in deep shit, because it looks like the crystal is scratched, and it's just not something that I enjoy in my watches. I like everything looking new for as long as possible. It does have the double buckle clasp, which has been the same for many years, especially to the old one. It does resemble the same features, okay? And basically it has, I think, a 48-hour power reserve. If I am correct here, let me just take a look at that for 1 second. Over here, yes, I'm pretty sure it's 48 hours for the power reserve. Most Omegas are anywhere between 42 and 48 hours. They really don't go much beyond that. Back to the buckle for a quick second. It does have the Omega logo in gold over there. And basically, this one itself is running 5 seconds fast a day. It is a chronometer, so that is within chronometer standards, -4 +6. So, as long as you're within those standards, the watch is doing exactly what it's supposed to. And it's a watch that lasts you not just for years, it lasts you for generations. That's why people go with Omega Constellations, excuse me, as opposed to other brands. And if I had to rate this watch from a 1 to 10, I'd give it I'd say about a 9.25. And the reason, a little bit why I wouldn't give it a 10, when I try it on my wrist, okay, it's very comfortable. They're known for being comfortable, and they do look nice on everybody's wrist. Compared to my old one, it is thicker. Okay, the thickness of the actual band is thicker than your older pieces, which are 10 or 20 years old. It's a much thinner band, so it wears a little easier on the wrist. This one's a little stiffer. So it's great when you're in cold weather or when the weather's cold, because you really won't feel it. When the weather's hot, it will tend to stick to your wrist a bit, and especially if you have longer hair on your arms, that may be a little problem because it may get a little sweaty and you can feel it, as opposed to the older ones, which will slide more, and you really won't have that feeling at all. But again, I'm nitpicking over here. It's a great piece. I highly recommend it, and basically, it's definitely a recommendation for my book. It's definitely within my top 10 watches that I currently own. And thank you for joining me again tonight, and I will see you next time on another episode of It's About Time.